Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Ask a Christian podcast. I'm your host, Nate. I don't have anything to say other than check out youtube.com/@questionsaboutchristianity. We are also on BitChute and Rumble and Podbean, so if you prefer to listen on any of those platforms, go ahead, I guess, email me. Also, askachristianclub@gmail.com. And anyway, you can find iTunes and Spotify and everywhere podcasts are if you want to hear audio form. I guess to be safe while you're driving or at work or something like that. If you want to see, watch on one of the video platforms. Rumble, BitChute, or youtube.com/@questionsaboutchristianity. So, let's go ahead and jump into this and see what we've got today. Jamesy's already waiting. Let's see what Jamesy has to bring to us today. Welcome, Jamesy. How are you doing?
I'm good. I wanted to chime in yesterday and I got pulled away. The
sorry we didn't get to you in time.
The analogies for the Trinity. I think the waterfall is probably the best because like we refer to waterfalls with an S even when there's multiple. So like I updated my picture to this little Trinity Falls, and like we could refer to the left, right, and center, but Trinity Falls would still be like all three waterfalls.
You know, that maybe I've not heard that analogy before. I mean, thinking at it at a glance, I mean, it's not wrong. They are completely independent waterfalls, yet they are also one larger waterfall. I'm sure someone would nitpick and be like, well, technically it needs to be part of the same waterfall, and it needs to be three independent waterfalls as it's one waterfall simultaneously, not eventually combining into one waterfall. But I mean, I think that's pretty good. It's at least a good visual demonstration. So you know, it's better than the egg. But
It kind of escapes the partialism thing. But part of the reason I find this so interesting is there's a fairly prominent apologist, I don't remember who it was, but he said like the only reason he had for rejecting God was that he couldn't wrap his head around the Trinity. And then he went on this like nature hike and found three waterfalls and fell before the Lord and proclaimed his glory, all that kind of thing. And like as an atheist, initially I was like, that's really silly. But in terms of just like explaining how three persons could be one mind, I think this is probably the better analogy.
As far as analogies go, I think it's pretty decent. Maybe Quentin didn't. That's why he left. It's all because of you. Totally not me.
I kill rooms. I'm aware that I show up.
I do a good job of that myself. No, you're good. I appreciate it. Yeah. Well, what else is going on? Yeah, my mind is kind of I'm trying not to be in politics mode, but that's where it is. Like, I've been inundated this morning with, I mean, I guess I do it to myself, but, with, well, I don't want to say because that's all we'll talk about. Let's give Chris a chance to say something.
I'm just excited to see Jamesy here. Good to see you, buddy.
He has solved the mystery of the Trinity, Chris.
Oh, sweet.
As far as analogies go, what do you think of his PTR?
You're gonna have to give me a second. What's up? I would say that's modalism, Patrick.
It's better than the egg, right?
Yeah. The analogies for the Trinity fail because the Trinity is basically an answer to a pre-Socratic philosophical problem. And so, you can't really answer pre-Socratic philosophy problems with analogies.
Well, there's just like the actual Trinity. There's going to be at some point an element that you have to conceptualize. Like you can get the conceptualization, but to practically see it demonstrated, it's gonna stretch you beyond what you can present without drawing like an abstract conceptualization. So it's like the Trinity, right? It's like the Trinity Falls. So you've got three independent waterfalls or persons, yet you see they are one waterfall, except it's when they combine at some point. So it's like the part you would have to conceptualize but can't demonstrate is how they are three completely independent persons / falls at the exact same time, simultaneously, why they are one, how they are one, not how they later combine into one. So it's like you would have to move the one waterfall where they all combine and transpose that back on where there are three independent falls and have them be three independent falls at the same time they're one fall. So I mean it's like, which is the same thing with water. It's like, no, what H2 is great, but it has to be solid, liquid, and gas all simultaneously at the same time. So you're going to have to stretch your brain into the abstract at some point, just like the actual Trinity. So it's like, well, look, here's the actual Trinity and what the Bible really says. It doesn't say it's an egg or water. It says there's the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, yet all are God simultaneously at the same time. So if you can get that concept, you don't need to go to an egg. You can just be like, well, look, the egg's going to confuse us at some point. So it's like shell, yolk, and whatever, all simultaneously existing, like at the same time, but not in an egg way that's modalism. So it's like you're going to have to stretch at some point. You may as well just stretch to the real thing. But again, if someone is a good faith actor, you can throw out maybe the waterfall or an ice, an H2O example as an icebreaker to like start the conversation. And be like, oh, I get it. So that's exactly the Trinity. Now I understand. Oh, well, no. That was to get your toe in the water. Well, now let me explain how it's not the Trinity and how this is a thing called modalism. Anyway.
That's partialism, Patrick.
Jamesy did say partialism. Explain the difference in modalism and partialism.
Partialism is that God is made up of parts, right? And then those parts form a whole. Modalism would mean that there is a unitary God that takes on different masks, and that the three persons don't actually exist.
Yeah.
Partialism is dull.
Part of like my understanding for this, when explorers first discovered Niagara Falls, there was like this outcrop of stone that split the falls. So it literally was like two sides, right? And I was like, wait a minute, are we saying that Niagara Falls used to be two waterfalls and that it became one? And like you could say yes, right? But we still refer to it as Niagara Falls. In fact, almost every time we refer to a waterfall by name, we refer to it as falls. We give it a plurality. Now this, you could still refer to left, right, and center, but it would still be Trinity Falls. Like that's what we would be referring to it as one thing.
Just don't go chasing them.
Where is that?
No one?
I don't get it.
Bro, it's a TLC song from the 90s.
I was just looking for a picture of like a Trinity.
Physically is located.
I googled Trinity Falls, but they want the same TLC from the 90s.
Why do I know that?
I don't know. No idea what you're talking about right now.
Google TLC waterfalls and put it on mute for us. Lou, why do you keep deleting your messages? So, wow. He's just hiding.
Oh, so you know our buddy Logan that shows up here every once in a while, right?
I don't, but let's say I do.
Yeah, well, he'll come in here. His name is Logan Ramsey. He's a good dude. He's a pastor. My son and I watched a video of his the other night. He's part of a abolitionist group, okay. And he was rocking the abolition conversations, and He's really good.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention. James, you don't feel like you got to go back if you want to jump up here and stay on the stage, even for the better audio quality. Please feel free, and Bill too. What's up, Lou? Were you going to say in words what you deleted from chat?
No, I don't. It just happens. It's like part of my troll magic. I don't know why that happens. It's just a thing.
Well, Chris.
Oh, I love this tone.
I'm trying.
This will be great. What do you got?
I mean, I'm trying everything, which I guess I'm out of distractions. I'm trying everything to not talk about Cloward-Piven and social Darwinism collapsing the welfare structure to bring about the end of days in America. I'm trying not to talk about that, but I feel like I'm being pushed in that direction by myself. Is there anything else you'd rather talk to?
I mean, Rosaria talks about Cloward-Piven, so you know how much I love me some Rosaria.
How much of that does she talk about, or is it mostly lesbian
Dude, she
preachers?
helped architect it, bro. Like, do you know anything about her before she became a Christian?
I only know anything about her from what you say.
Okay, so you should go look her up today because you're going to go down a rabbit hole and you're going to be like, holy crap.
I can only have so many rabbit hole bandwidth.
Bro, let me tell you, this is well worth it. Like, she was part of the gay rights movement and the long-term strategy of working through that. And, like, she talks about it, man. Like, it's straight up, it's some crazy stuff. It is literally some crazy stuff, man. Like, you know, she was testifying before the New York Assembly and all these things. You know, she was a professor, you know, full-time, tenured, women's studies, you know, doing her thing. And so, you know, she talks about how much damage that she did to America. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
You know what I could also rant about? Sometimes you're just like, bro, give me a simple answer. Now, it seems like anytime you put something into any AI, it gives you its whole, like, blah, blah, blah brain trust. It's like, hey, what time is it? And then it tries to show you its thinking, like it's so smart. It's like, oh, user asked what time it is. What could this possibly mean? What time is it? Is this AM? Is this post-meridian? What does this mean? What is the history of time? What is the time origin? And it shows you how many results it's getting. It's like Wikipedia, atomic clock, blah, 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 this.org, time.com. So it's like, it goes through all of its thinking process, and like 10 minutes later, it's like, oh, based on this complicated mathematical formula from the origins of time itself and the sun and the moon and the lunar Roman calendar combined, it's 3:04.
Question.
I'm like, dude. Anyway, I'm trying to type in something, and it's like showing me its whole thought process. I'm like, just tell me yes or no. Yes, Lou.
Is Jesus the only way to salvation?
Yes,
Because,
Lou.
I mean, there's so many other religions out there. Like, I mean...
Lou is bored about you ranting about AI.
Your troll god won't save you, Lou.
I mean, there's definitely, like, better ones. You know what I mean? Because Islam, like, let's look at Islam. Like, I like Islam because, I mean, 77 virgins, like, who doesn't want that? Like, that'll be awesome. So I don't know. I'm starting to think. That
Get through it without laughing.
Maybe there's another way out there. You think? What do you think?
I don't know. Is there a? Let's go to our expert on the third way. Chris, is there a third way? Or a second way?
Oh, there's always a third way, Nate. I'm going to suspect a third way, Chris.
Lou, I would say, first of all, before any of this other stuff, look at the illogic of it all. As I understand, in Islam, you are not allowed to, really partake in alcohol, and there's very strict laws around, how many women you can have and things like that. So if you can't do that now, because apparently that's violating some kind of law, why could you apparently violate these laws in the afterlife? That doesn't make sense.
God is sovereign. So whatever he says goes, and that's just the way it is. We can't control that, Nate.
Oh, well, I don't think I have never heard an adherent of the Islamic faith say their God is sovereign. Maybe they squeaked out the words, but I don't think they can back it up.
Again, it literally says some crazy stuff. But no,
Well, I mean, the words may be there, right? Like they serve the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The words are there, but look at it. So it's like when you dig down, when you scratch beneath the surface, they say they worship the same God of Abraham, Isaac, and, well, I guess Ishmael. But do they? The practice seems completely contrary to everything the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Ishmael and or Jacob does, says, and is all throughout the Bible.
Islam, but I could be a good person without God, can't I?
You can do what secular people would say good moral stuff, but in the eyes of God, you're a filthy sinner and you're doomed without Jesus.
That doesn't seem fair, Nate. I gotta go. I gotta punch in.
Oh man, I wanted to ask you a question, bro.
Yes, ask him.
Because he was in the room.
Hurry up.
When you were in the room talking to the Muslim, remember? And I jumped in the room. Did you understand? Did you understand what I was trying to show him?
I believe so, but remind me real quick.
So there's a version in the Quran that talks about when Joseph was sold into slavery. In the Quran, it says he was sold for a few coins of silver. The problem with that is, I was trying to show him that the problem with that is that at the time Joseph was sold into slavery, silver coins didn't exist yet.
Exactly. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, he ignored that. He just moved right along.
Wonderful. I hope your questions have been answered this day, Lou.
Yeah, all they're going to do with that is just say, "Oh, it's just a idiom. It doesn't actually mean real silver. It's just he was sold for money." That's all they'll say. They'll say it's a literary device.
I mean, is that where we would just say, well, oh, that part must be corrupt, except the entire thing is corrupt?
I mean, there's more I could point out, but they'll find something like you don't know Arabic or something like that.
Yeah, just flip open to a page and there you go.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone else. Feel free to jump up and ask.
Normally, this is where you rant and rave, doing some kind of monologue for.
Maybe I'm learning. I've been told so much how some days it's like, oh, all you do is preach too much. You just monologue forever. And then other days, like today, you're like, Nate, I miss your monologue so much.
Well, I never said I'd missed them. I just said I was kind of expecting one. But no, I think that what people get agitated with is when there's like 20 people here and then the monologue keeps going on. And they're like, hey, are you going to get to talking to people? I think that's where people get agitated.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll try to do better on my free job. Well, usually when I'm rampaging about something, it's because I'm tabbed out of the screen, like reading an article or looking at something, and it takes me a while to like look at my other monitor, my third-way monitor, to be like, oh, there's a bunch of people there. So I'm not trying to ignore you.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you something I saw on TikTok yesterday. There's this TikTok channel. It's called Pentecostal AI. It looks so real, but it shows Pentecost like a Pentecostal style church and preaching, and they're praying for people and they're laying hands on people, and this one I saw with the women, and they're casting out demons, but she's climbing the walls, and then they have some where they bring goats in the church and they lay hands on the goats and the goats go crazy, and cows, they do the same. It's wild, man, what they're doing with AI.
And if you were in China, TikTok would be showing you like mathematical formulas to build rocket ships, but we get goat demons. Oh, thanks for that, TikTok. Well, I saw the dude with Stalin's picture, and he's all like, "Pro-Palestine is the only way." I thought he would be tempted into saying something, but
Well,
I don't.
I tried to throw you a bone earlier, and you didn't want to talk about it. So
Wait, what was that bone you? Oh, the Rosario Butterfield thing. That's too much work right now. I know. What?
Not that. Like, I've tried to throw you several bones, but no, the abolitionist thing, and like discussing like the difference between abolition versus pro-life.
You just said that like really quick and kind of. I thought that was just like your end point.
No, I was trying to give you a jumping off, man. I was trying to serve up a softball for you, man. I was waiting for you to be like, "What's abolition, Chris?" And then I could give you like
abolishment of abortion. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, abolish it.
It's like, well, but like, there's a contrast. Like, why is it that pro-lifers hate abolitionists, and why is it that they're trying to discredit them? And
I didn't know that. See, you didn't say that. Why are pro-lifers trying to discredit abolitionists?
Yeah, you should look into your giant oracle. Like, go over to the lava pit, huff in some really good, hot sulfur fumes, and go ask your oracle. The oracle at Delphi. That's like totally what they did. And we can have a discussion about it. Because, like, yeah, the pro-life movement really despises the abolitionists. And it's like a whole thing.
I mean, you could just tell me, but fine, let me go to AI and, 20 minutes later after it tells me its lines of thinking, I mean, it's going to give, like, a very liberal viewed version anyway. Like,
oh, well, you just tell the prompt, like, only use conservative sources. Like,
okay, let's see. My microphone. Hang on. Will my microphone work while I'm using it on this one? Hello, check 1 2. Can you 3?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Hold on. No, I'm excited because before my microphone, since it was being used by Club Deck, it wouldn't allow me to speak into AI. I've just discovered now it does. So you have to hear my prompt, but at least I don't have to type it and go clickety click 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 click. Here is my super sophisticated prompt. Why do pro-life people not like abolitionist people? I don't even need to say give a conservative answer because it's already conservative views, so just give me the answer. Okay, the tension between pro-life and abolitionist groups, particularly in the context of abortion debate, stems from the difference in ideology, strategy, and priorities, despite both groups often sharing a fundamental opposition to abortion. Here's the breakdown of why pro-life individuals might not align with abolitionists. Pro-life. The pro-life movement typically advocates for incremental restrictions on abortion, late-term, parental consent, while working within the legal and political framework. They often emphasize persuading society through education, legislation, support of pregnant women. Abolitionists, often rooted in groups like, so one is like touchy-feely, win the hearts and minds over time, and let people see this conclusion themselves, like Lou and me with the Bible that he tries to show. He tries to lead me to a conclusion, and it makes me pound my head against the desk. You're great, Lou. Or people that are like, bro, here's the answer. God loves you. Maybe. Can you repent and believe? Then he loves you. That's just the answer. Done. Okay, so the abolitionists would be like, nah, no more abortion. Sorry, don't care. Just done. It's done. Okay. Abortion abolitionists, often rooted in groups like Abolish Human Abortion, AHA, for short, that's funny, demand the immediate and total criminalization of abortion, viewing it as murder equivalent to homicide. They reject incrementalism, arguing it compromises the moral absolutes, and often call for laws that would punish women and providers with severe penalties. Pro-life individuals may see abolitionists as too extreme, as their approach can alienate moderates and make the broader anti-abortion cause less palatable to the public. Let's see. Yeah, so I mean, sure, that makes sense. I mean, that's like everything else. So I mean, if pro-lifers could lead hearts and minds in like a weekend to the abolitionist conclusion and everyone was on board, then everyone would be abolitionist. But it's like, well, do you want 55% of a cake, or do you want no cake? So if you come in like, bull in a china shop, which is a misnomer, they're apparently very delicate in china shops. This has been studied. But something that's not like Chris in a china shop, just going in, like knocking over dishes, breaking everything. It's like, well, that's going to get you, and like, abortion's bad, abortion's murder. The pro-lifers will agree. But everyone else is like, dude, we're going to have more abortions now because you're insane. You're too extreme, so you get none of it. Versus pro-lifers are like, well, let's just dial this back and dial this back. And they may get people to be like, oh, right, that view on abortion is really, it's bad to have a late-term abortions. We understand now. We've seen disgusting videos and da-da-da. We've been educated. You have won our hearts and minds over by 15% this day. So it's like, see, is it better to have some of what you want versus none of what you want? And they're like, you're too giving, you're too loving, you're too appeasing, you're too compromised. And it's like, well, yeah, but their compromise has dialed back abortions by 50%. Your rigid non-compromise has excelled abortions and had the opposite effect of what you say you want. So it's one of those arguments.
This is a different topic. It's just a question about a movie. Have you guys seen, any of you have seen this movie called Agora?
Hang on. Before
No,
we
man.
switch topics,
Good.
Chris, you wanted this. You wanted a monologue. You got a mini one. Would you like to respond to this before Felix takes us wildly away from this topic?
Dude, I just dropped my father-in-law off, and now you're done with this topic already?
Oh! I asked if you wanted to respond. Did you hear any of the words coming out of my mouth?
Yes, I was listening as I was in the midst of...
Have I
spelunking through
summed
the
that up
chaos.
pretty well? You basically fall on those two sides. In a perfect world, the pro-lifers want abolitionists. However, it's not a perfect world, so they see you as too strict, therefore you're not going to get any of what you want, versus them, who you see as too easy peasy, but they're getting some of what they want. So is some of what you want better than none of what you want?
Right. So, no, because the problem is that, and this is the argument from the abolitionist side, is that pro-lifers, by definition of how they do things, want abortion. They want abortion. They want to protect abortion as much as pro-choicers do. They just want it in different ways. And so, with the abolitionist argument is that the pro-life movement has ceded the moral high ground to the abortionists by saying, well, we just want it, less. And so that becomes the 1990s Bill Clinton version of abortion and Hillary Clinton version of abortion, by the way. Who
Yeah, what they say,
famously
rare.
said, safe, legal, and rare.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so that is the pro-life position now. The pro-life position has adopted the radical feminist position from 30 years ago. And that is the charge from the abolitionist. The abolitionist is like, no, we want to protect all human life equally. And if we are going to do so, then we treat murder like murder. And that's it. And it's just that simple. And so that's the argument from the abolitionist side. Now you can go back and forth on that, but Abolitionist Rising is an excellent YouTube channel. And so Russell does a great job over there. And like I said, our friend Logan, who shows up here and comes and hangs out in your room sometimes, he's a great pastor. He's out of Ohio. There you go, Steph, Ohio.
What does Steph have to do with Ohio?
Oh, it's a whole thing from yesterday.
Oh.
We'll explain in a moment. But
when she got back totally in an hour, but like 3 hours later? Sure.
No,
Dude, I came back in an hour and you were gone, for the record.
Oh.
It would have had to be like an hour and 3 minutes, because I'm sure I was here an extra hour. Anyways, go ahead. But Chris,
So I mean, in a nutshell, the abolitionist argument is that you've ceded the moral high ground, and when you cede the moral high ground, you're now making the pro-choice arguments for them. And so, the abolitionist argument is that the very same arguments that people were making about slavery, that wanted to incrementally work on slavery, are the very same arguments that pro-lifers are making. And so, obviously the abolitionists were the ones who were successful, whereas the, let's limit and slow down the rate of slavery folks were shown to historically be the ones in the incorrect position.
And then
That's
the argument, yeah, I get that, but then the reasonable argument on the other side is two ways. One is like pro-life, safe, legal, rare, which is what you would be accusing them of. That would be bad. If they're like an inverted slippery slope, where they're like, guys, safe, legal, and rare, right? Right? Oh, well, let's stop this one. Safe, legal, and rare, right? So if it's like, a slippery slope the other way that ends in a snowball towards, well, technically it's safe, legal, and rare, but basically there's no way you can have an abortion now. It's effectively abolished. While they're still like, well, technically, guys, it's safe, legal, and rare. While all the people who are pro-choice are like, look, guys, this is a slippery slope. We told you 27 years ago whenever they said, no, they wanted it safe, legal, and rare and save the life of the mother and da-da-da, and we warned you it was a slippery slope, and now there's no abortion. So, I mean, someone could make the case they're on that side and that's their mode, and at that point, it's just semantics over, look, we're not ceding the moral high ground. I mean, that's the accusation, but in their mind, they're playing on the easiest field to get this snowball rolling in a way that it can't be stopped, so all things end up at abolition. And, maybe some are, maybe some aren't in that pro-life camp. But then it just becomes an argument about methodology and whatever. But Felix, Agora, the movie that's sidetracking us, and then we'll let Steph... does everyone have their atheist bingo card ready? I shared that, Chris. Go look at the memes in the Ask a Christian Discord. Cover your ears, Chris. I know it hurts. But that's just where more people are. It's an atheist bingo card.
It doesn't hurt my feelings.
So every time an atheist says something on that card, just, mark it off, and the first one to get them all, yell bingo. So like a day or a week from now, whenever someone just yells bingo, we'll know they've been playing. But Felix, Agora, the movie, I don't think I've seen it.
Oh no, it's just the movie I saw. It's what do you call it? Fictional historical fiction drama, and it has to do with Alexandria, Egypt, in the year what the heck was the year? 300 something AD. I forget what year it was, but anyway, and it happens that there's a big fight between the pagans. It was all right. I mean, I just thought maybe somebody saw it. At first, I thought this was actually a true historical thing, but I looked it up and I know it's fictional. It's based on some historical, like there's a historical setting, and historical figures are mentioned, like the Bishop Cyril, and some other people. Anyway, I just thought maybe.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else has seen it. Yeah.
Well, for anyone that wants to, no, I haven't seen it. I guess check that out if you're curious. For the Atheist Bingo, you guys can get your own if you want to screen capture. You'll need to go to 33 minutes of this podcast, and you can see the Atheist Bingo if you're too lazy or unwilling to go to the Ask a Christian Discord. You can go here.
Wait a minute. You don't... Hold on. That's not the way that works. Okay. I know this only because we did Chris Raw Bingo, and it was very successful. There is a website where you can make bingo cards, and it'll randomize the cards based on the link. So we just distributed the Chris Raw Bingo card link, and everyone had a different card. So it really is bingo.
Oh, right. You're correct. Thank you for your correction. Still, I mean, I don't trust or I don't have confidence in people to be diligent enough to like do this so everyone yells bingo at the same time. I figured like there'd be like one or two people that go a couple days, and like maybe one person will see it through until they fill up their card.
Sorry.
No.
I'll be right back. Sorry. Go ahead.
Let's look up Agora, the movie. Agora, the movie. Okay, so...
So I guess we're done with abolition.
There's nothing else to...
Ooh, I want to hear what Pastor Mark has to say about it. That would be really interesting.
English language, Spanish historical drama.
Wait, it's in Spanish?
No, it's in English. It's in English.
Oh, it's on Tubi.
Huh.
Hello, Mark. Care to talk about abortion while I try to find anything else to move on to? I mean, I don't hate the subject. It's just like, well, how much can we say? I mean, I'm sure people can like come up with hours worth of stuff to say, but at what point do we like? I don't know. It feels like these are the two positions in this discussion, so pick one side or other.
Do you feel like that the pro-life movement that has kind of gone off the rails at this point?
I don't know. I have not investigated the pro-life movement in like the official capacity or like the organizations or the groups. So I don't know. I don't know whoever is the lead voice in the pro-life movement. I don't know these organizations. I don't know what they say to judge whether or not they've gone off the rails.
That's fair.
But it sounds like you have. But it also sounds like
I've just been doing some research. It's been interesting. So.
Yeah.
Oh. Ooh, I have a new dashboard on my computer.
What?
I have a new dashboard on my computer. It's interesting.
I don't know what that means.
It tells you stats about things going on.
Oh. I spent yesterday setting up my wife's computer, which is my old one that I finally got working.
Oh, that old PC that died?
Yes. Turns out it was like either a bad RAM stick or a RAM, whatever you call it, the place you put it into, like the holder on the board.
The slot?
Yes. One of those got zapped by lightning, and I just removed all but one and started going compartment or slot by slot and stick by stick, and finally found 2 slots and 2 sticks that work. So like there's like you can see like char marks on the board below it, so you can't see which slot was damaged.
Seriously?
But you can see, yeah, but you can see the char marks because the motherboard with the RAM sticks is mounted vertically on the wall of my case, and the video card is mounted horizontally directly below it that feeds into it. So you can't see which slot is damaged, but you can see like the general like char and the sheen of like electrical stuff on the surface of the video card that presumably came from it. But it's working, so the first thing I did is get an external hard drive and like make sure that thing is backed up every day, because I don't know how long she has. But I'm like, here, honey, it's working really good, and it's technically better than any computer you've had because it's going to far exceed anything you ever do on it. But it may last between 5 minutes or 5 years. We really don't know. But as long as it's backed up, so...
Dude, I am in the middle of a fight with a client that is the dumbest fight of all time, and I'm like, okay, you guys, this is just stupid. Like, please listen to the guy with 30 years of IT experience, not what you read on the internet. Like, this is so dumb. And I'm like, okay. Because they've got, like, without giving too much away, like, they've basically got to do a whole bunch of, like, very high-end design stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, you need to have computers that are stable, not, like whatever fell off the back of the truck that week. And they're like, nah, we want computers that are going to be like, we want to be able to swap out the components. And I'm like, yeah, no one here's qualified to do that. So that means I get to do it. And that means I get to spend all my time at your business charging you lots and lots of money to do so. And they're like, wouldn't you like that? And I'm like, no, you wouldn't like that. Because then you'd be paying me thousands of dollars a month for something stupid. And I'm like, no, like that's how I lose my job. That's like really dumb. So I'm like, yeah, let's not do this. So anyway, it's been a whole thing, man. It's been a whole thing.
I thought you were gonna say you wanted to pay you an Amazon gift card or something.
No, I'm like, you guys, this is just really bad.
I remember what I wanted to say, and it's been 5 minutes by now, so I expect Steph to be able to respond to this. Unless she was lying. Oh, wow, so much stuff. Adam was genetically mutated.
That's why we couldn't make a bingo card for her. All of the things said gaslighting. That's all it said.
I meant, hang on, it had to be not the B to remind me of this. I just scrolled past it. Where did it go? Food stamps. Here we go. Welfare and food stamps. Welfare recipients go viral for freakouts over food stamps. This is why I didn't want to talk about Cloward-Piven and social collapse. But let's see. Not a prophet, But if in like 10, 11 days, November 1st, because of the shutdown, if people's SNAP benefits and welfare and EBT stop working, has anyone seen, like, while you're browsing TikTok, has anyone seen, like, all these, like, raving people completely freaking out, like, warning Walmart? And funny, Walmart, no one warns at Target. Maybe they'll be stealing their Satan shirts from them, but they're warning people that they're going to go steal all the food and all the stuff they need, because if their government assistance goes away, they're just going to go steal people, and they're like, steal from people, and they're like, Walmart has enough anyway, Walmart's got enough. Well, after everyone steals, they won't. And then the next wave of this goes to, and don't just think we're going to Walmart, we're going to your house too. And there's some guy in there who's like, if you don't lock your car, that's your fault. And someone else is like, we're just going to go through your door. So just wanted to bring that to anyone's attention for like the 5 people listening that don't already know. Just throwing that out there. So let's see what happens. So, if you've been storing beans and rice in sealed bags like you were Noah preparing for the flood, maybe you'll get closer to a chance to use it. But this is exactly what people want, right? Because specifically, the Democrats are the ones, because Schumer's held political hostage, so he knows better. He's caged for 20 years, 50 years, whatever. So he's never one to do a government shutdown over this, but because he's beholden to his young, radical left, he's forced to do this or face primary, which he's probably going to get anyway, probably by AOC, not a prophet, but look for it. You heard it here first. Anyway, so the point is, if it gets cut off and these people start stealing from stores, and God forbid they start going to private residences to try to loot and steal, this is part of the Cloward-Piven thing that may be realized here in America in our lifetimes. We'll see what happens. Is it mostly all talk? I don't know. I guess we'll see how hungry people are and how bad it gets. But the point is, you bring in like 20 plus million. Every time someone does a study, it's higher and higher. But it's like safely 10 million, probably 20 million, maybe more. You bring in these people with no checks, no credentials. You're just like, come on in. If I win, surge the border. So they surge the border. So now we're flooded with millions upon millions, multi-millions of people who are all on the social welfare system that is pushing it to the brink. And now if it truly collapses, i.e. no one gets their money, that is exactly what the plan of these people were. That you said Butterfield had a hand in at some point. I mean, it was developed in the 60s. Maybe she came along later, or I don't know. You can talk about that in a minute. But that was just, that was what everyone was talking about this morning. I'm like, well, hey, it could be a false alarm. They could cave right before it, or, people, they have enough ho-hos and Twinkies stored that they're not going to go on a rampage, whatever. But if you want people to turn into, like Klaus Schwab said, this is an angrier society. We will have an angrier world. This is exactly how you do it. Like, there's no accidental way to cause this. Like, if you're bad at your job, you can accidentally maybe cause a few of these components. You're not going to accidentally cause all this perfect storm by accident. So whenever Trump's like, these people are incompetent, these people don't know what they're doing. No, dear boy. The people at the bottom, the people in the streets, they are dumb. They don't know what they're doing. They know not what they do. But the people at the top are not incompetent. They are smart. They know exactly what they're doing. Well, then how can they be collapsing America? They want to.
Makes sense.
There you go.
They have to create the crisis so they can take advantage of it.
They create
the
cure. We'll make the disease. Name that song, Chris.
That's why Christians should never vote for Democrats. See how easy that is?
I mean, it's very easy. I mean, it's like, but like, and it doesn't mean you're automatically Republican. I mean, maybe you are. I mean, I'm signed up as that just because it's the least in the thing, and you have to be registered in Florida to vote. So it's like, well, I may as well try to pick the best Republican in in the primary. I may as well be able to pick the best one. So I guess I'm certainly not going to pick anything with a D on it. So I guess I have to register R so I can vote for an R before I only have one R to vote for against a D, which is always going to be an R. But they have plenty of flaws. But again, the Republicans wouldn't be able to be as bad for the small amount of the amount of Republicans who are crummy wouldn't be able to be that crummy if they didn't have like 99% of the Democrats to run cover for them and draw attention like a lightning rod because they are so bad. So if they are so bad, it allows the Republicans, who are mostly bad, to get by with a lot more stuff under radar. So again, the meme is true. Republicans are going to cause crime and do all this bad stuff, and Republicans' job is to pretend like they're going to do something about it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, we're all doomed.
Christ is king.
Jesus is Lord.
Yeah, that was easy. Solved all that. So then, can Democrat or can Christians vote for Democrats? Not to bring, not to.
Everything is permissible. Not everything is beneficial. I just saw an article I had to push back on Gab, which is basically the only social media I'm on. And it's like, don't let Christians sin by celebrating Halloween this year. I'm like, that is so annoying. It's like, look, Romans 14. If eating a piece of bubble gum on Halloween is celebrating witches to you, then follow your conscience. Don't do it. Don't act like anyone celebrating, right? Are you celebrating Halloween, like, in the way you call sin, or do you mean, like, look, bro, dressing as Spider-Man and eating candy is not a sin, unless somehow Romans 14 convicts you of that. Barring that, eating a candy Spider-Man dressed as Spider-Man is not a sin. Sacrificing babies to ward off evil spirits is. Don't do that. Want to eat candy and dress as a hero? Fine. Most people are not going to be convicted over that. Want to sacrifice babies to Satan? That would be sinful for everyone. Don't do that. So you're not doing the baby thing. Great. Eat some candy. Unless you're like 1 out of 20 people who are convicted that's bad. Then don't do that.
Well, there you go.
You wanted rants. You got them.
I mean, I'm just along for the ride, man.
You did this.
It's probably true, yeah.
Anyone else? Anything else? Assassination attempt. What are you talking about, Lou? Whose assassination attempt?
Oh, the hunting stand on the tree pointing towards Air Force One. Is that what he's talking about?
Oh, I don't know. That would be like, are you clairvoyant? How would you just? You
didn't hear? You didn't hear about that?
No, I did, but no one said it in chat, and no one said it in voice. So did he just throw that out there, and you just figured it out?
That's the first thing came to my mind when you said what he said.
I did see that. The only thing I saw is it's being investigated, which means it's done. Let's see. Big Smoke, the race to the top of the NFL. Go Pack Go. I guess there's a football fan somewhere. I don't have anything to say about that. I just don't know anything about it.
Huh. Well, fair enough.
The world is burning around us, but let's watch football. Let's watch people who will never run out of food throw a pork-skinned ball while the world burns around it. But my team, my game.
That's right.
And now Mark has apparently NBA started to distract him.
That's true.
Okay. How about that robbery, that heist over there in France?
Oh, yes, another great story. I didn't want to go like full We Hate Women yet. Love you ladies, you guys are great. But not to be as a treasure trove today. Historic. Before we get to the robbery, historic. Louvre's museum, first female security chief, hired by first female director, becomes first woman to lose French crown jewels. So could this have happened on the watch of a bunch of dudes? Sure. Did it? Nope. Or whatever you wanted to say, Felix. That's totally not sexist.
Oh no, I wasn't saying. I was just wondering if you following the story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as much as that, I just learned the woman thing. But yeah, apparently this happened in like 7 minutes in broad daylight, which makes people seem like they're very emboldened. Let's see. So, oh, here we go. Goodness. Here, check out. Look, I'm not saying judge a book by its cover, but sometimes the entire book is written on the cover. Check out that link if you want to follow along. Okay, new. Dominique Buffon, The music. Wait, it's French, right? So Dominique Buffin. I can't do a French accent. I can't do accents. Can Steph do a French accent? The museum's first female security head hired last September by the museum's first female director. This sounds like the Palisades fire. The first fire chief hired the first deputy fire chief. They're all radical woke lesbians, and they're like, why should I be forced to go in and carry a 250-pound man out of a burning building? If he didn't want to die in there, he shouldn't have been there. Ma'am, that's his home. No, I'm a fire chief, and it's my duty to save people, but I shouldn't be expected to save people. That's like 99% of the actual quote. Okay, so being accused of being a diversity hire. Are there women who are ready to go, combatant, hardened, French Foreign Legion? I guess they allow women, but French Foreign Legion. Anyways, the point is, there are plenty of commando, battle-hardened, ready and willing and capable women who could have stepped into this job and been eyes on target, move in, subdue. But it seems like this one was not. So, are women always bad at their job? No. Can you find capable women? Sure. So then what's the point? They intentionally look for the worst of the worst. Anyways, okay, who's they? Whoever's doing it. Over the weekend, a crew of thieves rolled up in Paris Museum in broad daylight, bold, and used a crane. I did not know that. Oh, that is hilarious. I did not know that, Felix. Oh, dude, they rolled in a crane to rob this thing.
Yeah, they were dressed like construction workers. They used grinders. They used grinders to cut up, open the however they got in and everything.
Wow. Okay.
They had reflector vests on and everything.
Dude, this is like Oceans 11, 12, and 13 all in one. So yeah, they used chainsaws to cut through the glass. Wow. Okay. Once the gold crown seen the video was discarded. Wow, that's a very nice crown. Chris, when you can elect kings. Yeah, you can elect kings. I was gonna say, when you elect me king, I want this crown. It may be a chick's crown. Is it? I don't know. But yeah, that's right. You can totally elect kings. You just can't remove them, right? Yeah, I'm sure that's right. Anyways. Okay, so yeah, Felix, there you go. So so more than 1,000 diamonds was gifted by Napoleon to his second wife. I think they said it was it $7 million? I need a number.
Hey, I'm back.
Gee, welcome back. Oh,
I know, you were very excited to see that I'm back, right?
You can elect kings, correct?
If you're parliament.
I mean, elect may be strong, but I mean, people have voted for kings in the past, right? They just can't vote to do anything after that.
I mean, I'm not real strong on my British history, so
There have been more kings than just Britain, you ethnic purist.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I don't know, man. That's a good question. You should probably ask Matt. You should probably go and huff the lava stream right by your face and get into an altered state of consciousness and go ask your oracle. Hey, Mark, I'm doing the oracle at Delphi. I knew
you people
appreciate that.
Are insufferable. Yesterday, Chris and Steph both abandoned me. All we talked about was racism and how I was carrying water for apparently racist. And today, Steph's like, 5 minutes. I was back in 1 hour yesterday. I'll be back in 5 minutes today. It's been like 20. And Chris is like, hey, I like your brilliant, amazing insight on this point. Please give me all your knowledge. And I do. And I'm like, hey, Chris, what do you think? What? I just got back. Okay. So, in the year of our Lord. Huh?
Making a living over here.
What's that? Holy Roman Empire, in the 13th century, emperors like Frederick III were chosen through this process, so was elected by a college of prince electors from the 13th. Okay, so yeah, sure. Polish-Lithuanian dude in 1569 had an elective monarchy where the nobility voted for king. So yeah, I mean, it's not exactly like a popular poll. It seems like the more prominent people would vote or elect, but it's not like everyone got a vote. But so I guess my point still stands. Kings were elected or voted for. They just couldn't be unvoted for. Let's see. Visigoths. 672, sometimes elected by nobles and clergy. Yeah.
Visigoths were actually the people that took Spain. Like, they were Visigoths. Spain used to be a bunch of little kingdoms, and they were Visigoth kings.
Yeah, and in Scandinavia, occasionally elected by assemblies.
Interesting.
A king was elected at age 3. Whoever elected a kid at 3 to be king should not have had the powers of election.
Wait, kings had elections? There was democracy?
Dude, that's what we've been talking about for the last 10 minutes. Yeah, the thing I said that I had to fact check was can kings be elected? And apparently the answer is yes. But because they're elected king, they just can't be unelected. So, like, the idea is not, like, kings are hereditary typically, right? But, like, if there's, like, no kings and there's a bunch of, like, tribes that have, like, elders or chiefs that have, like, tribe chiefs or something like that, all the chieftains, like 10 chieftains, would get together and be like, look, we need to form one nation. We need to go from our tribal warfare to one nation because we have a bigger threat, or we want to unify and have more prosperity for all. Therefore, the 10 chieftains will elect one chieftain to be king. And then they do. And then they can't undo it. And then it typically stays with that king forever.
Oh, bro, Courtney's down there. She's rocking the 6'7". She likes my PTR.
I don't get this. I don't get your PTR. What's the finger all bent out of shape for?
No one does.
Nate, you want to let everybody know?
Well, first, I want to say, Courtney, do you have your, well, I know you have it, but are you prepared in the event that EBT goes sideways in 11 days to eat beans and rice while everyone loots all the stores because they are not prepared?
Beans and rice is great. What do you mean?
That's what I'm saying. I invited you, Courtney. Let me know if you can't get up here. Steph could invite you, but she's abdicated her mod throne, so she's AWOL. This is a stupid day. Anyone listening to this, don't judge me for today. We usually do better. Maybe. Maybe we don't. I don't know. Oh, there she is. I'm typing in chat. Steph, invite... Oh, there you are, Courtney. What's up, Courtney? How you doing?
Getting ready to blow dry my hair, so I'll just be silent. What's up, peeps?
What's up? Another day. Another day.
Another day? Another day, another dollar?
Not another dollar. Just another day.
Just another day for
Chris
me.
has got lots of other dollars. I wish I knew how to do what he does. Not the computer stuff, the making money stuff. I mean, it's like, dude, it's like, seriously, jack of all trades, master of none. Like, put this on my tombstone. Like.
Okay, well, that's still good. Why are you struggling, bro?
See?
Huh?
We're not gonna talk about what I may or may not be struggling with. We're gonna talk about the irony of my halfway ability. So they're like, jack of all trades, that means you can do everything good. You're bragger. You're bragging. I'm like, no, clearly you don't understand me. It's like I know enough to be dangerous, right? Like I set up my wife's janky computer, and I spent like a day and a half getting the thing to work and set it up and all this other stuff. And my parents are visiting, like, wow, you've always been good at this. Why am I using that voice for my parents?
So then you're not really a jack of all trades, then.
Hold on. They've been like, son, you're really good at this stuff. Like, why don't you start a business doing that? I'm like, well, look, I'm good enough to tinker around and get things to do what I need to do, but there will be a point where there's like a fairly complex problem that I don't know the answer to and I can't find the answer to, where you would need someone that's like a real expert at this stuff. And if I had a business and someone called me, that's where I would just have to disconnect my number and run away. But because I'm trying to be a God-fearing boy out here, I'm not going to do that, therefore I'm not going to set up a janky computer repair shop. That's the point. I can do like 75% of what needs to be done, but I don't have enough ability to drive it home in a way that can, be a business.
Son, be a dentist.
Be a dentist?
That's... Okay, never mind.
I do references you don't get. You do references I don't get. I guess that's just how it goes.
It's a Little Shop of Horrors, man.
I know the name. I don't know anything else about it.
Somehow Chris and I have had identical life experiences. I don't understand how that has happened, but I fully understood the reference.
Well, the Lord has a
Right.
sense of humor. That's why.
That is funny, right, Steph? That was a funny bit.
That's good, yeah.
Could Chris
It's a
legit be
mucus
your
soup.
dad? Like, is Chris old enough to really be your dad?
Chris is, well,
No, he's
No.
not.
what
He's in
year were
his-
you born, Chris?
Maybe, I was going to say maybe, 10 years older than you, if that?
What? No.
No.
Wait, older
No,
than
no.
that.
He's
Chris, I
closer
thought
to
you were-
my-
Oh, really?
Steph is mid-30s.
Wait,
Chris is
Felix
mid-50s, right?
old enough to
Yes.
be Mimi's dad?
What?
So y'all are 20 years apart?
Yeah.
Then he is old enough to be your dad.
Wait, Chris
So
mid-50s, is
my
that right?
dad is 58. So I think Chris is younger than my dad.
He
Say your age,
sounds
Chris.
younger than that.
I am 53, kids.
50,
There
oh,
you
yeah. I mean,
And
you would be like 15 when you would have
Yeah, so technically, but
Best teen dad ever.
So, like, if he went to my high school, that's totally plausible.
Yeah, my mom had me. I mean, she got pregnant at 17, so not too far off.
Courtney's a high school graduate baby.
My mother dropped out.
Courtney's a high school dropout baby.
Yeah, basically. Yeah,
My
well,
mom's college.
I'm the
graduation.
first to graduate. All my sisters dropped out. My mom dropped out. My dad dropped out.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I got to carry that torch, you know? They all look up at me and go, "You're the one."
Is one of your kids going to be the first one to do college?
I don't know. I am of the mindset, I think I would push them towards trades, especially with my my husband currently already. We own a shop, and so I would push my oldest towards that. But I mean, I'm not going to be too much of a stickler. I'm just going to guide him in, I think, give him plenty of opportunities and let him choose. If he has the ability to get a scholarship, whether for trades or college, then that's great. But I don't know. I mean, cross that bridge when I come to it. But as of now, my son is like literally fantastic at drifting. He can handle a car better than most grown men. So he seems to take an interest in mechanics in that way. So if he wants to do something there, my husband and I will definitely try and help facilitate that. And my younger two are still too young to even, they still maybe pick boogers in the corner somewhere that I don't know about, you know, so they're not thinking about their life as an adult.
I will tell a story.
Neither is Nate, so that's fine.
I didn't hear that. I was totally here, but I didn't. I'm just gonna, whatever. I'll take my lumps. My children were having an argument last night because my parents are here, so they're forced to bunk in the same bedroom. My kids are, because their room has been taken over, and they were having an argument. I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm like, wait, what? So they were arguing about, I guess, the cleanliness of the other. And one is like, you leave your messy stuff all over the floor. And they're like, I can't even walk. And they're like, you're stepping on my stuff. They're like, you should move it out of the floor and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, you should put it up. And then one of them is like, yeah, well, you leave your dirty Kleenexes everywhere. And they're like, so you wipe boogers on your wall. And they're like, I haven't done that in a long time. And they're like, yes, you do. I saw you. And they're like, I haven't done that for like a couple years. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, wait, what? What? I'm like, no, the answer is you've never done that, except you would be lying. So what have you done to my walls?
Gross.
That's how my
gross.
conversation went last night with my darling children.
Children are...
I don't think mine throws them on the walls. I was just being
It's disgusting.
facetious about saying like he picks his boogers or they pick their boogers. I'm just saying they're like 7 and 9. You know, they're not really thinking about what they want to be
Oh,
when
I'm
they grow
with you,
up.
Nate. There is
You can
on
relate?
my side of the bed, we don't have a headboard, right? The bed, we have this like nice minimalist bedroom. Okay, it's just
Wait,
a wall.
stop.
Yeah.
On your side of the bed, there's no headboard, so there is one.
No, both on both sides of the bed. We have no
Oh, okay,
headboard.
okay.
Okay, yeah. No, we have we have the 2 twin beds like in. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so our bed has no headboard, so it's just the wall. Okay, Then my daughter likes to lay, the littlest one, likes to lay on my side, and she calls it a switcheroony because then I can't get in the bed because she's in my spot and she thinks this is hilarious. And then she picks her boogers and wipes them on the wall right there by where I put my head at night.
This
and
is
this
why
to her
dogs-
is like the funniest game.
This is why dogs sleeping in the bed is infinitely more sanitary than children.
Correct.
Yeah.
So bring in the dogs,
So-
kick out the kids.
I'm a stickler for not letting anyone sit on my bed, including my children. I
Yes.
believe my bed is a sanctuary, and my bed is my bed.
Is your husband
And
allowed to sit on the bed or no?
yes, my husband has. Yes,
He has rights sometimes to sit.
Yeah, no, he does. Like we just go to bed. Like there's this thing that he bought, and we put it above our bed. It says, "Give it to God and go to sleep." And I say, does that also include, when we're angry at each other, we just give it to God and go to sleep? Or do you, because he's always said, like, of course, the montage of, like, don't let the sun go down on your anger, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, maybe sometimes it's best to let the sun go down on your anger. And he's like, no, I don't think so. And I'm like, really? And he's like, no. And so we just turn over. If we're angry, like, he doesn't sleep on the couch or anything. We just like, you face that way, I'll face this way. But for the most part, no, I don't let anyone sit on my bed.
If you're real angry, you just like turn the sign around so no one can see it. You just turn the sign around and go to bed mad.
I just can't imagine you making anybody angry, Courtney.
I mean, I honestly, like I stick to myself. Like I'm like not kidding you. Like literally, the only thing I debate people on is like religion. Otherwise, like you do you, boo. Like if you want to jump off that bridge, I'd advise against it, but go ahead, have fun. Whatever. Like I don't care. I kind of mind my own business for the most part on literally everything else. My husband, I'm a very social but not social person. What that means is I'm social when I want to be, but don't just come in my house thinking I'm just going to be like super social. I will be cordial. You'll be treated to the utmost respect and like, we'll feed you first. You're a guest, but like, like you're not going to, like my husband keeps telling me like, hey, come pick me up from this spot because I'm going to pick up dirt. And if I drive the equipment back home, then I need a ride back home. And I'm like, yeah, I got you. Okay, that's fine. Just call me when you're ready and I'll come pick you up. And he calls me and I literally expect this man as I roll through. I don't even want to put it in park. Like I expect him, okay, my love, just come get in the car. And he's looking over at me and he's like, ixnay on the get out of the car, Courtney? And I'm like, mm-mm. He's like, why is it that you don't get out and say hi to these people? I do say hi. I say hi through the window. Hi.
Oh.
I just want to go home. What do you mean? I got things to do.
I have just remembered I have two things to talk about if any of you would like to.
No.
Would you like to? Chris.
No.
Yes, Chris does. The first one is supposed to be very quick. It was just hey, by the way, what do we think of this? More and more states are doing digital IDs. Anyone aware of that? So right now, you may not be, unless you have been paying attention to the news, put that one up there real big, or you're trying to watch porn. So in certain states, like Florida, I don't know where else, there's like 5 or 6. I'm in Florida, so it's everywhere down here. The law, I guess porn too. But the point is, they're doing digital ID safety laws under the guise primarily of protecting children. So on its face, who wouldn't be for that? It's like, oh, if you want to go to these adult websites, you got to show your ID to prove that, you're really an adult and can access this stuff for the children. But in reality, who sees this? Everyone, as a total slippery slope to getting digital IDs eventually for everyone about everything in order to use the internet. Anyone have a quick thought about this? This is supposed to be the fast topic.
Digital ID is a terrible idea.
But it's for the children, Chris. For the children.
Yeah, I don't care.
Do you have a cohesive argument against that?
At this point, the government, the world, evil leaders or whatever, they're going to do what they're going to do. And I'm just going to have to deal with it. Because, what am I going to do? I'm a human and God has ordained things to be the way that they are. What in the actual heck am I going to do? Prepare.
I thought you'd just say it's a good or bad idea. I figured that was always.
Oh, it's a bad idea. Okay.
Okay.
Hey,
great.
listen, that's not what you said. You said, anybody have any thoughts on that? You didn't say, does anybody think this is a good or a bad idea?
My thought on that is it's a bad idea.
My thought is the same. I concur. I don't think anybody's going to
See,
disagree
it was
with
supposed
you.
to be quick. It was supposed to be quick. Unless someone's like, no, it's a great idea. But okay, so that was quick. Great. Okay, so, Chris.
Hold on, wait. I'm sorry. The idea here is that they're putting them on smartphones, like digital ID. So you have a QR code and it's just on your phone?
No. The idea right
That's what
now.
Google told me.
Google's a liar. Google's the beast system. Love you, Google.
Right.
Don't cancel my account. I need you. See? That's what they want. Okay. Use Brave. Okay, and DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo sold out. Ask me later. Use Proton Mail. Okay, so the idea is adult websites, right? Like things where there's right now it seems to be just targeting like sexually explicit material, like porn and stuff. I guarantee if it doesn't already, the next it's going to go to like gambling, then it's going to go to alcohol, tobacco, then firearms websites, and then everything else. So the idea is. When you go to these websites, they're forced to put some kind of like pop up, like you know how they have cookies everywhere now. Thanks Europe for that. How it's so annoying. They're going to have some kind of pop up like that, where when you try to access these adult websites, it pops it up and it will not let you move forward to their site until you, I believe, like upload an actual scan or picture of your driver's license. That's not something that sounds like a good idea, just at all. Like, especially in the age of everyone's out there to get your ID, steal your identification. Great. Let's upload it to some of the more, like, you know, unscrupulous people we already know in the adult industry. Like, who wants them to have their ID anyways?
So why would you have? Are you telling us something about yourself, sir?
I said earlier, Courtney, unless you consume a lot of porn or remotely gander at the news ever. I kind of watch the news.
Yeah. No, I mean, just like, I don't think it would be a concern if it's only for,
Yeah, you weren't listening. That's the entire point. That's the entire point that you're like, what am I going to do? I think it's a bad idea. You gave the right answer, but you have no idea. Right, so that's the whole slippery slope. Right now, it's
yes, I heard you, but if you would let someone land.
I'm sorry, crash your plane. Crash your plane.
Thank you. So if it is only, notice I qualified, if it is only used for those websites, then my ID will never be on those websites. So whatever. And therefore my ID is not going to be stolen. However, if the brand scheme, but if he said to use the websites, you'd have to upload your ID and you have a digital copy of it. I will not be doing that. Thank you. So by default, if that is the only way that it's going to be used, my ID would be safe. However, if Nate is correct and his tinfoil hat shines brightly and it will be used for other ways, I think it's a bad idea.
100%. That's the point. It's the obvious answer. Chris.
Oh, yes, Nate. How can I help you today?
You were about to weigh in. I figured like helping me out once in a while and being like, yeah, no one's saying if it only stuck to porn, that would be fine. It's not going to do that. It's going to stay that way for like 6 months and be like, now you need it for everything else.
Yeah, agreed. So like, it's a really bad idea to do digital ID of any kind because they will get stolen. It would be a nightmare to get it back. It would be a huge privacy invasion. In every way, it's a terrible idea.
Okay, now that short topic was... Wait, did Courtney leave because of that?
I think so.
It is okay to have different opinions, which, by the way, we don't have different opinions. We all agree. I made someone mad when we all agree. Wonderful. Okay, Chris, let's see if I can make you mad by giving you something that I know is near and dear to your heart. On Protestia, the great publication of our time, Death of Third Way and the Hail Mary of Winsome Witness. Have you read this article yet?
On Protestia?
In the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination, evangelical beneficiaries of the late Tim Keller's winsome approach to Christian societal engagement have put out an all hands on deck call to protect the intellectual and spiritual freedom known as Third Wayism from being, where have I heard that before? From being torn down by Kirk-inspired pew sitters fresh off watching a brother martyred. As much for his direct and literal method of engagement as the particulars of his theology, these regular Christians are waking up to the reality that Their DMN branded betters have long been promoting a brand of Christian engagement foreign to biblical, honest, and direct engagement that Charlie Kirk so brilliantly embodied. A brand whose core tenets are actually barely veiled Marxist humanism rather than biblical Christianity. So, go ahead, get that. We'll wait. It's fine. The point is, Chris is always talking about third wayism, and apparently third wayism is dead. So. All right, Steph, are you there, or have you forsaken us again? I don't even care.
Well, you don't even care. Listen, do you know why? All right, I have a sordid tale to tell about my freaking life right now. Yeah, while we're waiting for Chris to come back, I'm just gonna fill the air. I live next to the elementary school, kind of, so I walk down there and get the two older kids, right? Then I have to put them in the car and go drive to the community college where my daughter's at daycare. So this whole process is like a whole thing. So my son was all excited to go to, the one with autism. He was all excited to go to the daycare at first, but then when we got there, it was really overstimulating. It was a lot of people, it was a lot of commotion, it was bright lights, there's music, and he just got super, super stressed out. He won't go in the building now. Yesterday, I just had to bring him in there. So I bring him into the atrium of the building, and he will not take one step further. And he does this thing that looks really horrifying and kind of is, where he gets down on all fours and he just slams his face on the ground. And they have a tile floor, and the autism consultants are like, don't ever do anything about it. Like the behavior will extinguish if you don't give it attention, because he's seeking attention. So you have to let it pass, which just looks horrible if you ever see a mother of an autistic parent or a mother of an autistic child who's just standing there while their kid is having a meltdown. It's because the therapists tell us that that's what we have to do. Anyway, the whole school comes out to observe this spectacle. And I have to run down the hallway to get my daughter because they fine you if you're late. So I leave him with the 10-year-old as he's very upset. I run down the 3 doors down around the corner to go get my daughter. I'm like, get her jacket. I'm going to stand at the corner. I need you to send her right out. And I come back. And by the time I've come back, everyone's out and staring. Where are the parents? What's going on? And Peter's having a meltdown. And I'm like, it was just a nightmare. The whole thing was a nightmare. So now I come in today to the school, and the director pulls me aside and is like, that can't ever happen ever again. And I'm like, oh, okay. And she's like, we can't have that. It really stresses out the parents. And I'm like, I know, imagine my life, right? It sucks. It sucks for you. This must be so hard for you. So I got this whole talking to about how I have to figure out how to do a pickup dance where Peter doesn't have to come in the school, but I go get Eliza, but they all stay with me. I have no idea. So anyway, that's why I was late, because I am standing there defending that somehow I am not a neglectful parent. This is just a long list of things.
That's ridiculous.
Thank you, Chris.
Just ridiculous.
See, I want to beat you down with the holy long arm of the podcast, but then I feel bad when you tell me why you're tardy.
Well, it's still a funny joke. You should keep doing it because it's a very funny quip. But today, it was not funny. I came back to my car and was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do. This is why we can't go to church. This is why I can't work, because the school sends him home 3 days a week. And this is why, now he's been banned from the daycare. So I don't know how I'm going to do pickup. This is just my life.
Well, this won't work for the church, but tell them some LGBT excuse for the school, and they will bend over backwards to accommodate. Just find something that loosely.
You would think
something that loosely fits.
Here's the thing, right? You would think that in the oppression Olympics, that a disability, an actual real diagnosed disability, would somehow win. When you look at the actual numbers, okay, far more than the Black community, the Hispanic community, women, whatever demographic, LGBTQIA, whatever you want to use, the people with disabilities are far more discriminated against, far more abused, and have far less opportunities. So even someone who's blind, who can work on a computer and is really good with IT and tech and blah, 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 has their own transportation, all this good stuff, they are 1,000 times less likely to get any job, because people just... So you would think that in the oppression Olympics, okay, that freaking disabilities would be at the top of the list, but it's not.
Imagined
So now in
disabilities. Like tell him he thinks he's a unicorn and needs a litter box to poop in. They will bend over backwards. Like, forget the real disability. He's a unicorn and needs to have a litter box.
Wait,
Make it
okay,
happen.
something
Not
is
wrong
forming
about
here.
that.
He's banging his head on the ground because he's what? What animal does that?
Missing his
Someone help.
horn. He's missing his horn.
Okay,
and he's
yeah,
a it's
and
phantom appendage syndrome or whatever.
phantom
limb.
rhinoceros horn appendage, and I am supporting his identity.
Phantom limb syndrome. Yes, he
And
misses his horn.
His gender pronouns, his preferred pronouns are rhinoceros. So
Or
okay,
rhino smash.
I feel like we're getting somewhere here. This is
Yeah.
way more helpful.
Yeah. I mean, you live in liberal crazy land. Use it against them.
Yes, to your advantage. Just like the Muslims are doing with American laws. Use it to their advantage.
Yeah. This is an idea.
This is good. There's something
An
forming
idea
here.
whose time has come.
Its face banning a 6-year-old from a daycare because he has autism just sounds discriminatory, doesn't it? You would
I
think
mean,
that
you
would be
could
enough.
just go to the news with it and just destroy their daycare, but then you'd probably have to find
To
another
dress him
Yeah,
up
I'm
like
not
a
trying to do
unicorn,
that.
go to the news, say all that. I mean, you'll have to find out a way in good conscience you can say it, so you're totally not lying back. Hey, honey, do you like unicorns? Do you know what a horse with a horn on it is called? It's a unicorn. Would you like to be one if you could? Yes, that'd be fun. Great, he's a unicorn. Figure out a way that Jesus wouldn't disapprove of and run with it.
Wait, did he just cut out for that whole thing for anyone
You
else?
totally cut off for that whole thing.
Okay, yeah, we
My
missed it.
router. Can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me?
Oh,
Yeah.
Nate, shoot me your address today, and I will ship you that router.
Oh, God bless you. Give me a bill for how much it is.
So it's
Steph.
free. So, like it's
You're doing God's work. Steph, I said figure out a way to peddle the story in a way that Jesus wouldn't disapprove you of, that you can present in a clear conscience, and then run with it.
You're bringing up some really good points, though, because you would think that saying, look, which is what I said, he has autism. This environment is difficult for him. I cannot be in two places at once. You would think that that would be enough. But it's not. So it is funny, the kind of like, even in the most liberal areas, there's certain discrimination that's allowed. I think he put his phone in his pocket, so I'm just going to mute him.
I think so too, yes. Oh, was he talking? Chris, are you there? You're crackling.
I muted him just in case. Sorry, Chris. Oh, no, I didn't. Well, we'll find out. Anyway, what were you two talking about? That's why I was late. Be nice to me.
Yeah,
Then because I
feel
was getting
bad.
reprimanded, my 3-year-old misses her breakfast. And then when I get to the classroom, they're like, oh, she missed breakfast. I'm like, yeah, I'm aware. I know.
Like, she eats unicorn food that looks like pizza that I'm giving her now in your classroom. Oh,
Someone
let's see.
just
Here's
sent help.
someone said help.
No, I said someone send help. Like, if you have parents in your life, even if your parents are awful and they're willing to help you with the kids, just appreciate it.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
put aside the whole thing and just be like, thank you, Mom. All of our issues, I'm not worried about. Thank you for doing this because
yeah. So today's topics have included analogies for the Trinity, pro-life versus abolitionist for abortion, welfare recipients go viral for freakouts if they lose their food stamps on November 1st and threaten how they're going to like rob people and rob stores because, it's owed to them. And then we talk about the Louvre Museum, the heist that happened. This was apparently done by the first woman, the first woman security director hired by the first woman director. Coincidence? I don't know. We talked about that. Are kings elected? Yes, they have been. Digital ID, good or bad? That's where we made Courtney mad for agreeing with her. And death of the third way. These are what we've talked about this morning. Basically none about God.
Oh yeah, and you guys were in the middle of the death of the third way thing.
Which Chris, I thought I'd love it. That like speaks his heart language or something like that. Because I get accused of the third way more than is warranted. So, what else do you have? What's going on? So, when you got back yesterday, did you start up another room, or what happened?
No, I didn't. Like when I got back from drop off?
So how did people talk to you to find out apparently what happened after I left?
Wait, what?
What?
I don't know.
Chris is like, Steph, you said this yesterday. I'm like, what? When did that happen? I didn't hear that. They're like,
Okay, no, yesterday I did my drop off and then I came in here for 20 minutes and then I always have a Wednesday meeting till 10:30.
Right,
So I
right.
did the office meeting. Okay. Then when I was done, it ran a little over. You were correct. So it was done at like 10:35. Hey, Sean. It was done at like 10:35 and then I was in another room, I don't know, after that at some point, like lunch.
That's what I was asking. What
Okay,
happened there?
so nothing. Oh, Chris came on stage and said that Ask a Christian descended into chaos yesterday. And
What?
then he was like, "Why weren't
He
you
wasn't
there?"
even
And I
here.
was like,
He
"I
wasn't
don't know."
here the entire day. How would he know?
Oh, I don't know. That was the word
It
on the
was me and
street.
Sean are the only ones here the entire day that talked. Lots of people listened. No, Sean, did anyone come up to the stage, or was it pretty much me and you the entire time, and we just talked about racism?
Pretty much, we just talked about racism and as a foolishness that the folks be saying. It was stupid. That was stupid. That's what.
Are you home yet?
No, I wish I was. They gonna.
You about to be?
No.
What?
Sounds so much better though. You sound like a new man.
Let my doctors know that
Put him on the phone.
they won't be here for another hour.
Oh boy, is there a chance you're getting out today?
I say 55%. I was supposed to. They wanted me to go home. They had orders to discharge me the other day, but they didn't do what they needed to do, which was give me that urinalysis, and they ain't do it. So 24-hour urinalysis. So I'm probably gonna be stuck here till Friday because of their foolishness, not mine. And I said something to somebody yesterday, and they ain't brought that thing here yet. But
Call the hospitals for him, Steph.
I mean, look, if you need treatment and further testing, you gotta stay. I'm sorry. We all want you alive and healthy, so I'm not on your side in this one.
Well,
You know
I mean, it
what?
sounds like they just dropped the ball and didn't do what they were supposed to do.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah,
How did
don't
the
like
stress test come back?
Stress test came back. My heart is doing good. I keep
Oh,
trying to.
good.
And my heart is doing good. Because they still got to run tests on my kidneys.
Uh,
That's what this.
but I'm
That's
sorry.
that's what this 24-hour urinalysis is supposed to be for. And then it takes another 2 hours for any labs to come back. So.
Oh my gosh.
So
Yes.
So what is y'all talking about here?
Nothing. We're looking for something new, and there's some people I don't recognize down there in the audience. If anyone wants to talk about God or Christianity, type it in chat or raise your hand.
We'll send
How
out
about
some
the-
tickets.
How about the importance of communion?
Which kind?
The kind where they get the crackers and
Oh,
the
okay.
juice.
The actual, yeah. Okay. I didn't know if you meant like communing together or the
No,
communion.
that's
Okay, I'm
fellowship.
with you.
There's a difference between communion and koinonia, which is fellowship. Yeah, I did pay attention in Greek class, Chris.
Chris is AWOL.
My church, or every church I've gone to, I should say, does communion once a month. It's like the last Sunday of the month. We do communion all together.
We generally do it on first Sunday.
I'm hearing an argument that on Clubhouse lately that the Eucharist or communion is worship and that the singing and everything else is meaningless.
That is insert one of Chris's words. That's what that is.
Let me give you my best Star Trek. Illogical.
Sing a new song to the Lord, the clanging of cymbals, the banging of this, the that, dance before the Lord. It's all meaningless. That's not how the Bible says
That
it.
is the argument because
oh, really?
where's
Let me
Chris
ask
right
a
now?
question.
Because he's one of the people who will make this argument.
Wait, that singing and stuff is not worship?
No, I think he'll argue that like yes, that the singing that you're doing is not the important part of church. But there are other like the League of Unusually Intelligent Teenagers holds the belief that the only valid worship is the Eucharist. And that if
That
you're
is
not doing it every
stupid.
Sunday, it's not church.
That's stupid.
Historical precedent for that position, I think, but not in Protestantism.
Okay, here's the argument: grape juice or real wine?
Grape
Grape
juice is
juice,
fine.
please.
The medium is not. The medium is not important. You only got white grape juice? That works.
No, I
In
like
my
grape.
freshman year of college, when I was a very good girl and didn't know how drinking worked, I drank a lot of red wine and spent the entire night throwing it up. And to this day, I still cannot even smell it. I cannot be near it. I hate when other people are. I can't. It just smells like vomit. I'm so sorry. Please do not give me red wine in the Eucharist. I will be gagging.
I mean, I'm sure they would find a way to argue against this verse, but I don't care. This is like a great umbrella verse. So, whatever, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God. Technically, glory in the Aramaic does a shut up. Do everything to the glory of God.
You sound like my first year of seminary professor.
Do you guys believe in transubstantiation? That is not a thing. That is our
No.
answer.
No, I do not believe that it actually turns into the body and blood of Jesus Christ.
And neither does Jesus, for the record.
I guess so, because he would have to come down every. He'd be having to come down so much it wouldn't be. You'd have second coming, third coming, fourth coming, and fifth coming, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then how many churches would he have to hit? Come on. Yeah. See what I'm saying? The beauty of communion, Eucharist, Lord's Supper is that you're doing this in remembrance of what he did. The body which was broken for us, the blood which was shed for us. It's that simple. Why complicate something that's very simple? Don't worry, I'll wait.
What are you waiting for?
Why do people tend to try to complicate something simple?
Don't know. I'm with you on this one.
All right. Then you can be my tennis doubles partner. Ping pong, that is. I am not running around.
Well, I think because probably one of the church fathers who has wildly heretical views about other stuff and lots of problems in their own life and theology, they read this. Whoever wants to be mine must eat my flesh and drink my blood. And they thought, hey, I have tons of bad theology everywhere else. Why don't I have bad theology about this? It'd be like, well, if I have to eat the flesh and drink the blood of Jesus, then sure, it says it right here. How can that happen? The wine turns to blood and the bread turns to flesh. That's totally the only way that happens. Let's make a doctrine of this. And then a bunch of people who believe these church fathers, in spite of all their other bad theology, they're like, no, this part they were completely right on. Because they've been wrong about everything else, but they're right about this. That's the best I've got.
Well, you see, you must look in the eyes of. I won't make up a church father, because even though he was not a church father, he was an artist. He's an artist. Cicero.
Like, look at John 6:51. Like, I mean, even John 6:51. I'm the living bread. So to think, this is only in the Last Supper he talks about this. He says, John 6:51, I am the living bread that came down from heaven. Whoever eats this bread, okay, so Jesus is the living bread. He came down from heaven. Whoever eats this bread will live forever. This bread is my flesh. Jesus came in human form. Yes, he is a human saying this, which I will give for the life of the world. Did his flesh turn to bread on the cross? No. How are you saved? By eating communion that turns to flesh in your mouth? No. Even those people would say you're ultimately saved by something to do with his death, burial, resurrection, and the blood shed for you on the cross. So if he is the bread, he came down from heaven, he is flesh, he gives this himself for the world. So when he was crucified, this is what that means. You're, quote, eating his flesh and drinking his blood that was given for the life of the world. So if you're someone who calls on his name for salvation, this was fulfilled at the crucifixion, not in the Eucharist. And then there's also John 6:63, and there's other places like this. So to act like you read the Last Supper quote, and this is the end-all be-all, it's totally talking about, bread becoming flesh. And then if you challenge it, their first thing is to be like, when his disciples heard this, many turned away because they said, this is a hard saying. They act like you're one of them. I'm like, no, if Jesus is like, here, you have to eat my flesh, and you have to bite his finger or something. I'm like, well, that's odd, but sure, if that's what it takes, I'll bite your finger or whatever. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. If that's the way for eternal life, I will do that. That's just not what that is. That's my problem with it.
Well, the key about that, if you read 1 Corinthians chapter 10, it actually gives a good thing about this. It says, the cup of blessing which we bless, is it not the communion of the blood of Christ? The bread which we break, is it not the communion of the body of Christ? For we, being many, are one bread and one body. For we are all partakers of that, one bread. Behold, Israel after the flesh, are not they which eat of the sacrifices partakers of the altar? What shall I say then? That the idol is anything, or that which is offered in sacrifice to idols is anything? Well, I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to demons, and not to God. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with demons. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of demons. You cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and the table of demons. Do we provoke the Lord's jealousy? Are we stronger than he? That is 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 16 through 22. Those 6 verses actually tell you the attitude of which you should take communion. And if you have been eating stuff sacrificed to demons, please repent before you take it, because chapter 11 say if you don't repent, well, there's a little thing say that many get sick and fall asleep, which means they die because they take the communion unworthily. See, the blood of Jesus make you worthy to take it, but your actions, your thoughts, and your words have made you come up a little short. What y'all think?
Yeah. So this is where, right where they're talking about people were using communion for basically their evening dinner, and this was in a manner unworthy, and they were not reverent for it. So it's why they died early. But also, I think, explain this. A lot of people, if this is around there, give the chapter and verse. But where a lot of times people will, sure, why wouldn't you? Pray, repent, have a clear conscience before God. That's obvious. But a lot of people think that's all it means, where it talks about, if what is that verse? Let's just get that, because a lot of times people think I have to make sure I'm squeaky clean before God, which, by the way, you should always have a clear conscience before God. But for communion specifically, you're not looking at how good and righteous you are. Yes, you want to repent. You want to always have a clean slate before God. But it's the focus on Christ and his finished work. So a lot of people will stop with, I got to make sure I'm squeaky clean before God. Great, you're not. That's the whole point of God. You're not squeaky clean. You don't want to have gross sin that you're unrepentant of, but you never do. But it's more about looking to the finished work of Christ and his righteousness as a way to celebrate communion. What chapter and verse am I thinking of, Chris, Sean? It's about examining yourselves. Am I still here? 1 Corinthians 11:27. Yes. So, let's see. Yes. This would be it. 1 Corinthians. Let me share my screen. If I'm still talking, am I still talking? Anyone there? Steph, you there?
Yeah, you asked if you were still talking, and then you immediately started talking to yourself, so I didn't know if you actually wanted to answer.
I have
it was kind of eerie.
I have real issues about
You're like, am I here anyway?
I have real issues about my trust in my internet connection. Okay.
Those are warranted, it would seem.
Very. So, whoever 1 Corinthians 11:27-29. Whoever therefore eats the bread or drinks the cup of the Lord in an unworthy manner will be guilty concerning the body and blood of the Lord. Let a person examine himself then, and so eat of the bread and drink of the cup. For anyone who eats and drinks without discerning the body eats and drinks judgment upon himself. So I'm only not pushing back on the super bad because it's not wrong to always, whenever you are aware of sin, pray, repent, try to do better. That's not just a communion thing. That's a as soon as it happens every second of your life thing. So you shouldn't get to a point where it's time to do communion and be like, okay, all right, God, I need forgiveness for a whole bunch of stuff. That should already be, repented of and, resolved to do better of. But the point is, yes, examine yourself, make sure you have a clean conscience before God, but don't just stop there. Like, I have no sin. Well, great, you just said you're lying. You have a short account, let's just say that. You're not actively having a laundry list of sin. But the ultimate point is look to the body of the Lord Jesus and his righteousness. So it's a commemoration of him, not your righteousness, but his righteousness that you get to benefit from. That's the whole point I was trying to say.
Well, and there you go. We answer the whole thing about transubstantiation there?
Yeah, it's not a thing.
Yeah, correct. It assumes categories that don't exist in real life.
Chris, what's your position on music being worship at church?
Music is part of the worship at church.
Okay, it's not him.
Good
I was
enough.
thinking of that, and I was wrong. Sorry, I repeal everything I said.
I know my Chris.
I thought that I'd heard you say that music is not really a relevant part of the worship.
No, the problem that the modern evangelical church has is that they think that only music is the worship. So they'll say like,
yeah, inverted.
Oh, right. So they'll say like, oh, the music is worship, and it's only a small part of worship. So, like, for instance, there's going to be a quote night of worship soon.
Wait, did you remember me talking about that?
No, that all sorts of evangelifish churches.
Oh wait,
do
what's
this.
your night of worship you're talking about?
Yeah, they're doing one next Sunday or something, and I'm
at your
like,
church.
Well, at our old church, and I was like, huh, yeah.
Like you're going or got out just in time?
I mean, so we're still going to both churches. So we're not members of the Reformed Baptist Church yet, but like,
hurry and become members before they learn more about you, so it's harder for them to kick you out. I'm kidding.
I had a good hour-long talk with the pastor. He is awesome. So
that's so crazy. How do you just try extra hard, or do these things come natural? Because I have not had maybe one pastor I've had a 10-minute conversation with out of many pastors. I mean, I've only been a member of so many churches because I moved around a lot. But I mean, I can't imagine being like, Pastor, can you please schedule a luncheon or an hour in your office? Like, I could just never imagine that. I mean, I usually go to bigger churches.
Right. Well, you're going. That's the problem. If you go to a church with less than 400 members, then it's no problem.
Mark counts. Pastor Mark. His church is.
I mean, Mark's got time to have lunch for us. He's not running he's not the CEO of a giant mega church and.
That's true, but Mark's church is
complex.
A little far away from us.
Yeah. Frozen yogurt, t-shirt shop, and
Latte, come get your
bookstore
latte.
with lattes. Yeah. Like that's what Keith Foskey talks about, like the big Eva mega church and like mega mall.
So where's the
yeah.
line? Because I think pretty much all churches, maybe even Mark's church, I want to know about that. All churches, no matter how small, will have coffee. Not all churches will have coffee shops. So you can't say
the Reformed Baptist Church doesn't have coffee of any kind. There's nothing there. There's
you guys
no
are wound up
refreshments.
enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because so a couple of things. Like my kid goes to so they only have youth group every other week, which is kind of weird. Anyway, so he rolls up to the youth group with his new Bonson shirt on, and literally everybody got it. Like all the kids were like, "Oh, Bonson's awesome." I mean, these are high school kids, and all the pastors were like, "Sweet shirt," and like, he did the same thing at the Evangeliofish Church, and like everybody's like, "Who's that guy?" Like no one had any idea. Like, where literally everybody at the Reformed Baptist Church was like, "Dude, sweet T-shirt. Where do I get one?"
Steph, Sean, do your churches have coffee? Steph, you may not know because you go like once a year.
No, we do. They have a whole coffee station. I go about once a month, but it's very hard. It will get easier. I'm praying over it. They have like we just switched to a much bigger church, right? So the Assemblies of God church that I was at had water bottles and a little coffee maker. So you could kind of do that. The much larger church I'm at has a whole coffee station that they have a volunteer working at. It is free, but you can go up and get like a fancy coffee, and then you've got creamer and you've got your sugar and you've got your like syrups, and all of this is free, but they offer this for like the hour before the service. And then you cannot bring it into the sanctuary. You have to stay out in the lobby with it. But the lobby is huge and has like vaulted ceilings and skylights and couches. There's like 4 areas that look like a living room. And so people just kind of grab their coffee and lounge around. And when they're done, they throw it out and mosey on into the sanctuary, which I don't hate.
What a church in your area looks like. Like, is it what the rest of us would call a real church, or is it like the best New York can do?
Well, so there are 2 churches in my town that are in buildings from the 1840s, and they are like some of the oldest buildings in the town.
Oh, wait, I didn't mean like that. I mean like
you may speak freely.
Do you think it feels like another church would feel with like we're Can someone interpret me? I know your area, and it's like incredibly liberal, so it seems like a traditional Bible-believing standard church would not do well. It seems like they may have to make some compromises around the edges, like
yes, I see what you're asking.
Renting out midweek for like a seance circle, or like sublease, or have some. I get what I'm saying.
Okay, these are the churches that I have attended in my town enough to know firsthand what's going on. The Anglican church here is super gay. And the pastor, the priest, whatever he is very gay. And I actually, and figuratively. No, like literally, like he's got the rainbow sash and he is gay.
All the Anglican churches, but go on.
Well, so I sent the link for the website to Tyler.
Hold on.
And Tyler was like, "Oh, yikes!" like that. And he said it was actually of the more conservative branch of the Anglicans, and so he was horrified that there's no one overseeing and ending the gayness. And he said, you must just not really have a good oversight in your area. Okay, so that's the Anglican
Wait
church.
a minute, was it ACNA?
Yes.
Ha! Is that what he wants to be?
Yes.
So ACNA, it turns out, only has like 2 churches in New York. So when he looked at it, he was like, they're probably just doing the best they can out there. Like,
doing the best they can.
Yeah, that was my question. Is it like all the churches are just doing the best they can, or is there one that's like...
Okay, so the Anglican church has completely sold out. I'm going to speed this up. Right. We have another church that is non-denominational and super charismatic that people in the area like. They have a female pastor of prophecy. So what that's
Which
worth,
one is this?
This is one in my town. I don't want to give the name. Like, their vacation Bible school is really great, but we do not attend their church. So that's
pastor of prophecy. Prophesy this.
It is true. So, they have a pastoral staff of 4 and 2 of them are women. So we just kind of nixed that. The Assemblies of God church that we were going to that we absolutely loved has a husband and wife pastoral team, and both are ordained, and the wife
Oh,
oversees children's ministry
that is
only.
very
And
progressive.
yes, so Chad didn't like that. I was okay with it because they made it very clear that there was a line drawn and that whose mic is that? Nathaniel. He doesn't even listen.
Nate, your mic sounds like what GAFCON sounds like in
maybe
my
I was
ears.
I was touching a wire. Did it just start humming and buzzing? Am I
No,
radioactive?
it was like
It would
Like
have
that.
sorry, it was this
triggered
bad.
your
Yeah,
autism
that.
in very
Sorry.
negative ways,
I'm sorry.
Nathaniel.
I obviously can't hear my own noise.
Anyway,
Carry on.
So the Assemblies of God Church did have the husband and wife pastoral team, but they were very firm about what the roles were. So I actually did feel comfortable with that. My husband did not so much. I think that's about as close as I'll get. There's another church plant that caught some steam when the church we were going to 20 minutes away because we moved to towns. During COVID, they shut down, and then the one pastor refused to open. And then he went on a whole social justice tirade. And I don't mean he was talking about Christ's love for all people and caring for the poor and the orphan and the widows and all of the things that Christians ought to be doing. I mean, he pointed at the other white pastor and said he was racist because he was white. And so this pastor got unceremoniously removed from the church. But then when that happened, half the church left. Okay, so when that church that has been around for like 60 years split, some of them started a new church plant up here that's been meeting at the high school. The new church plant had another split because they wouldn't ordain any women. So when that happened, okay, but that's the Calvinist church I attended for 2 years, by the way. So the new church plant was super Calvinist, 5 point, like absolutely just hardcore. But they were great, and I really loved them, and they worked really well with Peter. So we stayed at that church for about 2.5 years, meeting at the high school. So that church, this is like totally relevant. This is answering your question. This is the entire church landscape. I'm telling you everything that's going on. So that church is run by a couple that works for Crew. So they got
Oh,
moved.
no.
They got moved from the university here to a university in New Hampshire. When they left, there became a lot of discussion about, well, he was our main Calvinist. There are 2 Calvinist pastors, but he was the one who was really firm about the Reformed theology. And when he left, people started being like, great, now we can have this woman in the congregation be a pastor. And then the other, slightly less Calvinist pastor was like, I still don't like that. So then that church experienced a split. Now, and a bunch of them went to the Anglican church, by the way, where the gay pastor is. So
Well, they
now,
should go to the Anglican
So
church.
like they won't have a
Thank
woman
you.
pastor, so now they'll have a gay one though. Okay.
no, the people who
Oh.
did want the woman pastor went to the Anglican church.
Oh,
So
Right.
they
So they couldn't get a woman, so they went to a man, but it's a gay man. So
exactly. So
It's
I guess
the
they feel at
same
home there.
thing.
So then what happened was that church, the Calvinist church, is considering merging with the church that we're at now. But the church we're at now has a team of 5 pastors, and 2 of them are devout Wesleyans. One is historically Presbyterian, and the other 2 are like not really taking a stance. There is intense conflict about the Calvinism. So they're saying we would like to merge with this church, but we are not Calvinists, and you cannot teach Calvinism here. And this is making it so the Calvinist church is saying, well, no deal. So the church we are at now, people don't like because they don't ordain women. They don't allow any women in pastoral leadership. They don't allow any women on the elder board. They preach against homosexuality and abortion, and people don't like them. So that's where we are happily seating ourselves.
That is
outside.
baller. I'm surprised they're allowed to exist.
Yes.
They're
that sounds
huge too. It's a
absolutely
really big
terrible.
church.
That sounds
See, people-
absolutely terrible. I can't believe you would have
Aren't you-
anything to
aren't
do
you
with
a
such
sim-
See, you
bigots.
don't
Steph,
have
I thought
to.
you was Assemblies of God.
You don't have to compromise. Nah, she left that. They didn't have kids ministry enough.
Yeah,
You don't have
Sean,
to
my son
compromise
has
if
autism,
you
and the
stick.
Assemblies of God Church was amazing, and we loved them, but they did not have any resources for my son, and it was very hard for them to have him there. So I would still be at that church if it wasn't for that.
If you don't compromise and stick to biblical truth, people will still come to you. Apparently, as evidenced here, the more you compromise thinking you're going to reach more, you actually reach less. And the ones you do reach are the ones that you don't need to, you can't reach for Christ because you're reaching them for worldly standards, so that's all you're getting. So even the ones in your church are not being led to Christ because you're capitulating to whatever they want, which is not Christ. So what does this, is it unaffiliated or non-denominational?
This is the one that, so there is an ancient, like, from, and this church is 20 minutes away, so it's in the next town north. There is a church from the 1700s in that town that is a Baptist, the First Baptist Church, okay? They have been ongoing since the 1700s, unbroken. It's a really cool church. They keep getting so big that they have satellite churches that branch off. And then Malak explained to me how this worked, and maybe Pastor Sean or Apostle Sean knows how this works. But they will keep having like budding off into other campuses, and then the pastoral team at the First Baptist Church will oversee the budding campuses. And some of those have done really well, and some have sort of faded away. So in 2000, this church I'm at now came off of that First Baptist Church and then just got massive. So that's, I don't know. They are overseen by the First Baptist Church, but they are unaffiliated with the Baptist denomination.
Sounds extremely problematic. They should all just be Anglican.
Stop it. You're going to make Connie have anaphylaxis. It's not funny. Chris.
Oh, it's a little funny. Sort of like that pastor of the Anglican church. He's just a little funny.
So I have a friend who goes to the Anglican church, and he is like a homeschooled one of 12 children, very extremely conservative, devoted to the singleness of Paul. Like this guy is so, and he goes to this church, the Anglican church, and he says
Goes to the gay church and is devoted to the singleness of Paul. Seems fishy.
I can't. Stop it, Chris. Okay, so he goes to this church because he says that they need some sort of Christian in the church. So he has been faithfully attending for 15
He's
years,
the
being the
single
Christian.
Christian at the entire church. That's
He
very
might be, I don't know.
laudable.
That's the landscape of churches here, and that is literally all of them. I did not miss any. Well, I'm leaving out the Catholic churches, and I'm leaving out the Unitarian churches, and I'm leaving out the Universalist churches.
Well, they're not churches, so.
Yeah, but that's all of them. That's what we got. Well,
Seems
so there's
like
also
the Anglicans could get with the Unitarians and the Universalists.
Yeah, they kind of do events together. The Episcopals, like I don't know, but there's a Free Methodist church in the town north of me, and the town north of me where we're actually attending now, I'm not as familiar with that one because it's a very different culture from the town I'm in. So that one, there's a Free Methodist church that is small and has the same problem with Peter. And then there's a Wesleyan church that meets at the like the range, and they are small and don't have it. So there's other like scattered groups, but but in the town I'm actually in, yes, it's a lot of how do I say this? Like I don't have a problem with charismatic churches or even with the gifts and that kind of thing, but it is a lot of female pastors of prophecy, and is it a lot of like non-biblical nonsense, and it is a lot of gayness, and that's there you go. We now have the whole story.
Specialized in non-biblical nonsense and gayness.
Charismatic gayness.
The charismatic churches that I've been, we don't allow gay pastors and gay all that.
Well, except for the ones that are down low.
Why? Do you think that heaven is like exclusive to straight men?
Yes. I mean,
it will.
But as far as men go.
It will smell like cigarettes.
Not necessarily so. Because they said that goes into your body, that messes up your body. Anything that messes up your body will not be in heaven. I promise you that.
So a man having anal sex with his wife, is it the same?
Ew! That's none of your business.
Oh, but I thought that gay stuff is not natural, right?
Why would you even be interested in getting an answer to that question?
Hang on, wait, stop, hang on. Hang on, hey, wait, stop. Hang on, everyone, hang on. Let me address what I wanted to in chat before we do this, because I have a time limit. I wanted to know, Steph, are you wanting to continue running with this,
No,
or
I gotta
shall
get
we?
in the car in a minute.
Okay,
I'm gonna
so
be here, but I can't run it.
let me address chat real fast. Then we'll go to Ocean, who wants to really know whether he says this or not. If he goes from being a Muslim to a Christian, can he get into heaven as a gay Christian? We'll answer that in a second. So, Kyle, I just want to clear up for people that think we're backbiting churches. Say, very happy to hear Christians backbite one another from huge distances apart. Christianity is fragmented into so many, atheist voice, so many incompatible toxic clutches that it has no choice but to die out completely. No two Christians anywhere agree fully about the fantasy wordplay. That's exactly his voice, take my word. Okay, so when we are going pretty hard chastising these other churches, but it's because they have serious biblical flaws, like serious. So what you do find is Christians that are biblically sound have disagreements. So he was literally being corrected as he was typing his snark, because I, who am not Calvinist, Chris, who is Calvinism, and Steph, who is not Calvinist yet still went to a Calvinist church, we all agreed on some of the biblical sound churches, the Calvinists, the Assemblies of God, the other things she mentioned apparently where she is now. We all agreed and didn't give these a hard time because they are biblically sound churches, even though we all three have slight disagreements with each other and each of these churches. They don't rise to a level that's like biblically condemned. So that is Christians who don't agree 100%, yet we all are like, yes, we're all brothers and sisters in Christ. These are churches in the body of Christ because they legit follow the Bible. The ones we were going hard at are ones the Bible explicitly condemns things they are doing, and they apparently are doing in very spectacular ways. So there you go. Okay, back to Ocean. I have about 5-ish minutes or 10 minutes. Steph, no one leave early. No one leave early. I have 3.5 hours. Okay, I don't want to lie, but the point is, don't leave. I always say I'm about to leave, and then I never do, so no one leave. Okay, so Ocean, can you be a gay Christian and get into heaven? That is your question, right?
No, my question is that is heaven exclusive to straight men and straight women?
I want to answer quickly and say yes, but then if someone really wanted to go deeper, I would nuance that and say, for example, everyone sins. No one is special. Gay stuff isn't special sin. People who, have fits of rage, who are murderers, idolaters, straight fornicators, all of these things are sin, right? So if someone is like, look, they believe the gospel. The gospel is this. The Jesus you will read about in the Christian Bible. Everything about him, that Jesus. You say, Jesus, yes, I believe you died on the cross for my sins because I repent of those sins. I believe you. I ask you, through your death, burial, resurrection that I totally believe in, I ask you to save me, forgive me of my sin, give me eternal life, make me born again. The person that confesses that Jesus is Lord and believes in their heart he rose from the dead, they are saved. That's it. If they were previously, right before that second, murder, gay, fornicator, straight sex, unmarried, all this other stuff, liar, cheater, stealer. The point is, if they repent and believe, they are all Christians. They are all going to heaven. So if someone's like, look, I was gay, but now I believe Jesus, so I recognize that's a sin. I'm not trying to do that. Someone's like, hey, I got arrested for assault. I beat up a lot of people. I had bar fights, but I don't do that anymore. And then sometime in the rest of their life, if someone gets, beats up people in a bar, has fits of rage, that's a sin. If someone does some gay stuff after they've been saved, if they recognize, oh, that's a sin, I slipped up, that was awful, I gave into temptation, that should not be, Lord, forgive me. Someone in that mindset, in that repentant state, they are still going to battle with sin until the day they die. But if they are repentant and trusting Jesus alone for salvation and trying to follow him,
Yep.
they will be in heaven. So if you say,
Yeah,
see,
similar to Islam. Similar to Islam,
if they say, see, that's a gay person that got into heaven. Well, no, that's not someone who's actively gay getting into heaven. That's the one who battles with temptation and sin that is repenting, and they have a heart of repentance. They're getting in heaven because of that, not because they're, Jesus is cool with them doing all kinds of sins. That was the point.
Yeah, so similar to Islam, but the thing is that my point was that when a straight man sins, which is like really common, it get neglected, like it's not exaggerated the same way if a gay person sins. So straight men today in the world Man, believe me, if heaven is full of straight men, I don't want to be at that place. It's going to smell like cigarettes. It's going to smell like misogyny. It's going to smell like rape. It's going to smell like dominance and ruthlessness and
Wait, did
it's
you say you're
insecurity.
Muslim?
I'm a
He's
Muslim.
Muslim, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. What do you
Ocean.
think your heaven is going to smell like? I'm just
I'm
curious.
Ocean, by the way.
Yeah, this is
Yes,
Ocean.
we know Ocean.
Like,
oh, okay.
the irony is staggering. It's
Yeah.
like, if you're a gay Muslim, don't tell any other Muslim, because I can't speak about your heaven, but you're not going to be in heaven, but you're also not going to be a gay Muslim for long if you tell other Muslims. So don't tell other Muslims you're gay.
So
I
Ocean,
think
like,
the same thing in Christianity. Don't tell other Christians that you are gay.
Because
no,
they'll tell you
that,
it's a sin
that
and pray
happens
for
all
you.
the time.
Yeah,
man.
so there is something really weird, which is a straight man, when he sins, sometimes it looks like impressive.
Dude,
And
this is
when
the
a
most
gay
brain
person
dead brain
sins,
rot. This is so
it
brain
is
dead.
like the whole world is going to end. So there is double standard here.
Well, we're not beheading them, so I just want to make sure we put that out on Front Street. But if we're all of the understanding that we don't put them off of roofs or behead them.
Dabble in man flesh, I'm fairly certain.
They used to in Dark Ages. Like, they used to burn people alive.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, they burn people not just for being gay,
Catholicism
though.
is,
Yeah,
they burn
right.
people alive for saying read the Bible yourself.
And what they're doing in the Dark Ages is not as interesting as what active chronic Muslims are doing right now. So if you are not Muslim,
right now Christians are burning people in Gaza.
No one is burning anyone. Oh my god! No.
Yeah, evangelicals are sending these Zionists to burn people in Gaza. Yeah, so Christians today, like, they are wild.
Wow,
dude. The Christians in and around Gaza and Israel are. Hang on, I'm just gonna trust liberal statistics. I don't even care. It's gonna be like 0.2. Continue on.
Donors,
I'm just gonna.
Yeah. So the donors to the Zionist cause are mostly evangelical Christians.
What is the Zionist cause? What does that even mean?
Yeah, have you heard about something called Zionist Christianity?
No. Why don't you educate the Christians on that?
No, I think that you will know that. You will figure out. Maybe you can teach them.
No. I wanted to hear. I mean,
okay,
you have all the answers.
So, in a conspiracy theory wild for the ages,
this guy smells like cigarettes.
Ocean. Do you just think like every straight person is like a walking embodiment of like what Mad Men? Like the 1960s New York ad agency where they're like, hey, come over here, see? Hey, sweet thing, how you doing? Why don't you bring me a whiskey and a smoking jacket? Is that what straight men everywhere in the world are to you? Like,
no, they smell like cigarettes. I think
the Israeli population of Christians is 1.8%. The West Bank populace of Christians is 1 to 2%. The Gaza population is 0.05%. I'm more black than there are Christians in Gaza. There you go.
Well, I'm dead.
Look, if the support for if the Christian support, especially the American evangelical Christian support for Israel stops today, they are going to cease to exist. Here you go.
Anyway, let's
thoughts.
So, Optimus, hello. How are you today? Would you like to ask a question?
I think he just did. Straight people in heaven.
Hello, Optimus. Are you there?
Oh wait, Optimus. Who's Optimus?
Sorry.
Oh, Orpheus.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, what's up?
I'm good.
What's on your mind?
Do you have the pig icon just to harass the Muslim next to you because it's kind of based?
Yeah, it's part of it, and also
it seems like this guy is triggered.
Which guy?
Chris is triggered, it seems.
Chris is the trigger. It's fine.
I mean,
No, he's triggered.
what do you think,
He's
Nate?
my
You think
cutie.
I'm triggered right now?
Yeah.
No, I'm
Yeah,
about to be.
It's
Like,
kinda
the
hard to tell.
the irony is completely hard for me to deal with because it seems legitimately lost on Ocean, and I don't know how to have a conversation with that.
Yeah, Nate, I think if heaven is full of people like Chris,
It's gonna smell like cigarettes. Sure.
it's going to smell like cigarettes. It's going to be smelling like
First of all,
a lot of
cigarettes smell
insecure
amazing.
men.
Let's just put that out there.
These insecure men that are trying to flirt all the time. So I don't
Look,
want to be
Steph
there.
is going to be able to get her
Wait,
American
I
Spirit.
don't want to be
Ocean.
there.
No one's gonna be
Ew.
hooking up with
Tall
people.
malls, buddy.
No one's gonna be hooking up and having orgies in heaven. Is that your misconception? Like, no one's
No,
gonna be.
if
no one's
heaven
gonna be
is
having.
full of, yeah, if heaven is full of people like Chris, it's going to smell like vomit and like you know,
Oh, and now
vomit
we've
of
added vomit.
whiskeys.
Okay. Just say
Vomit of
mothballs. Look.
whiskeys that is mixed with the smell of cigarettes.
Anyway, can we go back to Orpheus, please?
Yeah, so heaven is going to be full with a bunch of people who are worshiping God. That's it. So whatever it smells like with a bunch of people worshiping God, there you go. Orpheus, did you want to say anything before I have to run?
Yeah, so I wanted to ask a question. And my question is, if the sin of Adam spread to all humanity without any conditions, then why didn't the sacrifice of Jesus also spread to all humanity without any conditions?
Oh, that's a pretty good question, actually.
Go for it, Chris.
So, right, in Romans chapter 5, we do see this, right? So that we see through one man, sin entered the world, Adam, right? So this is something called federal headship. And then we see that through one man, sin is conquered, right? So we see, Jesus is the second Adam. And so the real question here is, what is the nature of the atonement, right? And so the nature of the atonement, if you ask certain Christians, is going to be that every Christian, due to the cross, has something called prevenient grace. This prevenient grace, or I'm sorry, every person, rather, due to the cross, has this thing called prevenient grace that God pours out on the whole world, and that enables people to exercise their free will to choose positively toward God. And that then becomes the atonement for them. So then the atonement is applied to the person who chooses God. However, it is not to say that the atonement is given to all people, because there are conditions to the atonement, mainly having to do with repenting and believing, which is what Jesus talked about over
I
and
think
over and
he's
over
asking
again.
why would there be conditions for Christ and not for Adam?
Because
Right.
not everyone wants it. Wouldn't it be evil of a God to force redemption and salvation on a people that don't want it? So the Bible's full of things that say, like, look, you don't want God because you're drawn away by your lust, you follow temptations, you want your, basically you want all of your vices, so God's going to let you have that. So God's not going to force you to recognize the obvious, which is repent and believe, be reconciled to your Creator. If you would rather have your idols and your vices and your selfish desires, then God won't let you do that. How evil would it be if God forced you to give up your vices and serve only Him? It needs to be a conscious decision on your part to recognize what you're doing is sin and the ability to repent and believe God and ask for salvation. If you don't want it, He won't force you.
Oh, I love when Nate leaves the Calvinism in the dust and actually says Christian stuff. That's good.
I've learned how to thread this needle very carefully.
But you didn't. You just prefaced free will. But that's okay. Libertarianism. But that's okay. So so does that answer your
I tried
question?
to say the ability.
Optimus?
Okay, anyways,
Orpheus?
Orpheus.
You did great, Nate.
Thanks.
No, it doesn't answer the question because even the vices, in a way, I didn't choose the vices because I wasn't there when Adam and Eve ate the apple, So I inherited sin from. I didn't choose sin. I inherited sin from them. So if I could inherit the sin without choosing it, then why can't He also force salvation on me?
Well, no.
Right. So that's
So
the
I
whole
think
thing, is that you
because
were there.
there's a different dynamic at play. Well, right? Adam and Eve broke something. right? They broke the natural order. And so we are living in that. So in order for it to be what you say, where the salvation just applies to all, there would have to be an end to sin, which means God would make creation perfect again and there would be no sin. So it's a
Everyone, unfortunately, I have got to run. I didn't want to end that, so I didn't. I just left. So they will wrap that up. You got your answer. People love their sin. That's why. So he's like, we didn't choose sin. What I would have said had I had the time. Look, you didn't choose to have original sin. This is your bent away from God. However, it does not take you long to choose your very own sin. So it's like someone's like, oh, I can steal that, get a profit. Do I choose that? Well, there are lots of people, because we're made in the image of God, whether they know it or confess it or not, who still have enough of the moral compass from God, being created in his image, are like, oh, well, I know that's going to harm them, I could get in trouble, I'm not going to steal. There are lots of people that are like, yeah, all that's true, I'm going to steal anyway, I want what I want. They're choosing that. So you can say, well, I didn't choose original sin. Great. How long did it take for you to actually choose sin? Not very long. So do you choose God or do you choose sin? And by the way, I hedged fine. I did do free will, but I also said have the ability. That was to throw a little bone out to Chris to be like, look, see, like God would grant you repentance. I said ability. So anyways, okay, please like, share, subscribe. YouTube.com/@questions about Christianity. No spaces. That's the URL. YouTube.com/@questions about Christianity. Or just go to YouTube and search @questions about Christianity. No spaces. All right, everyone. Have an awesome day. See you later. Bye.